Welcome to Monkey See,
Monkey Review.
where we are going to finally get to talk about the release of Venom, Let There Be Carnage.
So if you guys have not yet seen this movie, you will want to stop watching this movie right now, or watching this video.
Yes.
Go and watch the movie and come back and we'll talk about it, because spoilers will commence, and there's going to be a lot of spoilers in this episode.
This is going to be like because, I mean, if you haven't seen it, this is going to be this just spoiler everything.
Well, I guess we should say first, it's a great movie,
Yes.
and you should go watch it. It's not the
It's
biggest
not a
family-friendly
no,
movie.
It is not a family-friendly movie, so if you are thinking about taking your kids, only you know what your kids can watch.
Did you drop the F-bomb a few times?
There is language, there's F-bombs, GD. There is no sexual content. There is none of that, but there is a lot of language and violence and a little bit of blood and gore. Not a lot, though.
No, they did tone it down a good
Yes.
bit from what I was expecting,
Yes.
honestly. But overall, great movie.
Yes.
Not the best family-friendly movie, but
Right.
like you said, it's up to you and your family. But full spoilers will commence now.
Yeah. So, what did you think?
I loved it.
Yes.
It's a great movie.
Yes.
But I enjoyed the first movie a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and I was really hoping that they were going to do a second one. And here we are.
Right.
Second one. Now I'm hoping for a third one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was fun.
3 is coming.
Yes.
Andy Serkis has already confirmed that this is not the end of Venom and Eddie's story. We will get more, and the reason they have said, and he even went as far as to sit there and say, the reason we have not brought in a Spider-Man character to this is why go straight to the main course when there's all these other appetizers and characters you can bring
Which
in.
I'm okay with. I've enjoyed the Eddie Venom relationship because it is a relationship.
It is.
And it's hilarious, and they really expand on that in this movie.
Yes.
As far as like there's still two people living in the same body.
Yes.
And what that does to you mentally.
Yes.
You know, for Eddie, like, good night, get out of my head. You know, there's no peace and quiet.
Oh, right.
And you just beat me up.
Yeah.
And you know, one of my favorite points.
I broke your nose.
Yes, I'm so sorry. I don't know what came over me,
Let me fix it.
so I can break it again.
That. Okay. So I went to see it last night. You went to see it at a different theater last
Yep.
night because you were in a different town for work.
Yep.
I went to see it, and like surprisingly, there was only like 20 people in the theater.
I
don't
don't have
think
that many. I think
I don't
there
think
was
there
like 10 in mine.
Yeah, so there was a me and this other dude that were, talking back and forth about the movie and, everything else. And he was like, dude, there's like 6 people in here. And then I think I got another 10 after that, like right as the movie was starting.
Yep.
But it was a great movie.
Yeah.
I was more pleased with this one than I was the first one. The first one was good. I wasn't crazy about it, but I think I had some friends in my ear talking about how this was the greatest movie ever.
No.
And overhyped it for me. So I went in watching it and I was like, okay, so it was a good story, but it wasn't over the top.
No, I enjoyed it. It was
Yes.
pretty much to the point.
Yes.
And same thing with this movie. It's pretty much to the point.
Okay, so
They don't
this movie
fluff.
is super short, though.
It is the shortest Marvel movie to date.
Yes, it is literally clocking in at like 1 hour and 30 minutes. So it really was a short movie, much shorter than I anticipated. Was a great movie. I think we could have had another half hour, but I'm going to sit there and say because of filming for this last year and for COVID's sake and things like that, and the fact that you don't want to just, for as dark as Carnage can be, the character, I don't think that they wanted to really drag it out because it would really push the movie into a much darker.
Yeah, because once he
Space.
does get, once Carnage is created,
Yes.
basically, it's pretty straight to the point.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the entire time he's basically just killing people left and
Yeah,
right.
he lives up to his namesake
Yeah,
in
100%.
every way. And it was really great seeing it. One thing I really was kind of iffy about, because reading in the comic books growing up, Cletus Cassidy is so insane that he and the symbiote are really of one mind. Like there's no, like we see a little tug of war in this movie.
That's pretty much all that it is for the
Yeah,
most part. It's
for
just
them too.
back and forth.
Yeah.
They both have their own agendas.
Right.
And
Yeah, and the Carnage symbiote is just a means to make their wishes happen.
Yep.
There was also the love interest, not for Venom and not for Eddie Brock, but for Cletus Cassidy and Francine. I can't remember her last name.
Barber.
Barber, something along those lines.
FB.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
her initials.
So she was interesting, but I know you and I talked about it off camera, and you didn't really. You said you caught it, but you didn't really think much about it. This is the first mention outside of any of the X-Men movies where she makes the statement, "I talked to the doctor today. They're going to move me," and this is in the first 5 minutes of the movie. In the first, this is the
2 minutes
intro.
of the- yeah, it's
This
the intro
is
of the movie.
intro to the movie. Like, you're getting the backstory between Cletus Cassidy and this girl that you find out is Shriek.
The one bright light.
Yes,
in
the
his
one
life.
bright light in his life.
Yep.
There's a lot of symbolism in this movie that he talks about.
Yep.
He talks in parallels and parables and just ideals and not literal words. So, anyways, this is his love interest, and she tells him, the doctor says my mutation is growing stronger. They're going to move me out of here today. This is huge because this is the first time we've had any mention of a mutation outside of an X-Men movie.
Yes.
So that is a huge ramification potentially for what is coming, what Sony and Disney have coming down the pipeline. We know that Kevin Feige has said that he really wants to bring in X-Men. Like, he's more excited about bringing in the X-Men and mutants than he has been in a long time.
Well, yeah, I mean, just think about the stories that he can do and everything else that they can bring in with that. It's just a massive universe by itself.
Yeah, the X-Men alone, the general roster for the X-Men alone are dozens, if not hundreds, of characters that have been on the actual team over the 60 plus years they've been around.
Yeah.
So I, for one, am stoked. But them mentioning the mutation really fired me up. Yep. We find out that her ability is to scream at such high decibels. It can cause deafness and paralysis and things like that, which plays against her because one of the two weaknesses they talk about in this movie are sound vibrations
and fire.
Yep.
So we have a lot of backstory between Eddie and Venom through the whole thing, and there's a big disconnect between the two of them.
Very much the odd couple.
Yes.
Couples counseling. Perfect.
They work well together.
Yeah.
But it's still the yin and yang on a lot of things, and you find out Venom's photographic memory, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And he really helps Eddie in his personal life.
Yeah. As far as his career goes.
His career and things like that. And obviously there's still the love interest there.
Yes.
With them, and
he's still interested in the woman from the first movie. What was her name? I can't remember her name.
Was it Amy?
I think Anna. So
too many names.
Yeah, right.
Anna. And she played a phenomenal part in this movie too. Some of what she did with getting Venom back to Eddie, because eventually, Eddie and Venom break up. They're done. There's a big split there.
Yeah. So there's definitely the splitting of Eddie and Venom. Like, they finally just have it out with each other, and he's just like, leave. Venom beats the crap out of him.
It destroys his apartment. Destroys his bike.
Yep.
Just everything.
And then just goes onto a homeless person and starts bouncing from person to person to person.
And they're dying.
Yeah. Like, they cannot handle the burden of the symbiote, like what it takes to actually have him. Yeah.
They're not compatible. So it's killing.
No, he's draining people left and right. Yeah. It's crazy. Which I loved it. I thought it was a really great little moment where you're just like, okay, so they really do need each other, not just for the mentality's sake, but now because of the fact that Venom has a hard time surviving without Eddie. Like, there's a great symbiote relationship there.
Then now Carnage is coming for Eddie.
Yes. So we find out Eddie is the last person that Cletus Cassidy talks to. Venom helps solve where the rest of the bodies that Cletus Cassidy has killed are hidden.
And Cletus wanted to do a story for Eddie, disclosing all of that, but Eddie figured it out before that and basically took the credit, and then also made the detective mad in the process because he cut him out of the loop as well.
Yes. So we see that coming out There's a lot of little place like that. The detective actually looks like he's going to have a bigger role in the next movie.
Yeah, so it's the same cop from the original movie.
Yes.
They brought him back in the very first scene because he's the cop that escorts the love interest, the one bright light, to her new facility, but ends up shooting her.
She tries to break out. He shoots her in the eye.
Yes, he thought
he killed her.
And you can see him in the movie later. He has a hearing aid on the left side, where when she screamed, ruptured his ear.
Yeah, damaged his ear to the point that he has to have a prosthetic or an assistant. Yes. So that was really cool. I really liked how they tied a lot of these little things in, little Easter eggs, a lot of interconnection. The detective actually, or the detective.
Yes, the detective.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if he was a detective or a chief. He actually, in the comics, becomes another symbiote.
Because at the very end of the movie, you see him where he was basically strangled by a chain, and yet he's still alive, and then you see his eyes go bright blue.
Yes. And glowing,
yes.
Yeah.
And then he is in the comic books known as...
Toxin. So I'm really interested to see what they're going to do with that.
So they're read up a little bit about Toxin after that. He's supposed to be the most powerful of the three symbiotes.
Yes, that we've seen so far.
Yeah, and he's one of the big three,
every generation they become stronger.
Yeah. So he's one of the next big three of the big symbiotes in the Spider-Man universe.
Which can we, not to cut you off, but can we talk about the level of power that we saw Carnage display?
Yes.
The level that he was able to take it to.
So I love, as soon as Venom finds out, okay, we're going here, we're going to save, and then, oh crap, it's the red one. We're gonna die. Yeah. I'm done. I'm out.
Yeah.
And he's like,
where'd you go, buddy?
Buddy, I'm feeling very vulnerable here. Where you at? Why are we gonna do this? Like, what's going on with this?
It was great. It was hilarious. He's like, nope, that's a red one.
Eddie, come here.
And he goes full-blown Carnage, and Carnage, like, Venom's a huge character, like, stature-wise. Carnage makes him look like a small child.
And Carnage is thinner.
Yes.
But just massive.
Yes.
And what he can do as far as his arsenal and things like that was really cool.
He really maximizes the abilities of the symbiote to create weapons, whether it be knives, axes, maces, or just shards.
But it could be a reflection of the host, too, and his willingness to kill and things like that, where Eddie is still very reserved in the fact that he doesn't want to kill anybody. And
so he does not go over the top with his own abilities, which is beautiful.
Eddie and them come to an arrangement. Just, if you come out and help me,
you can eat everybody here, except for that guy, not the guy in the robe.
Not that guy. Love that. And then they're running towards him. They're starting the big battle. And then Venom, we're going to die. Awesome. No, we're going to die. Not them. We are going to die. I just want you to know that. This is not going to end well for us.
It was great. So moving forward, and
all right, so
there's a great battle.
Yeah, so we're talking about Shriek first.
Yes.
All right, so Shriek, when he finally breaks her out, he finds out she's alive, breaks her out. Well, they're doing their big escape, in love, blah, blah, blah. And she loves Carnage. She loves the fact that he has Carnage inside of him. And then cops are coming after him. Yeah. Carnage is doing his thing, and then she does her thing. Yep. And Carnage gets mad. Says, don't ever let her do that again. Yeah. And that's the big disconnect for the characters.
That's Cletus is still in love with her.
Yes, 100%.
Wants to be with her. Problem is, her abilities damage the symbiote. Yep. So the symbiote's like, no, we don't need her. Yep. And and Cletus is like, no, we do need her. Like, we're doing all this for her.
We're finally at the final battle where it's their wedding.
Yes.
And then the final battle occurs, and then she's about to start screaming again, and Carnage straight up just lays her out. Says, don't open your mouth again. Yeah. Or I will end you.
Yeah. And then Cletus and him start fighting. Yep. Like, no, you can't do that to her. Then progressive, she winds up falling to her assumed death.
That's what they say. But she did help Venom in the end.
She did.
Because she loves Cletus. Mm-hmm. And she feels like Carnage, and Cletus are
not compatible.
And she's trying to save him because she thinks that he's going to kill him. Yes. In the long run. And yeah, so Carnage was about to kill her.
Yeah, Carnage was like no holds barred. Like we're just going to do this, and that gave her Eddie Brock and Venom the moment they needed to be able to take out Cletus Cassidy.
Yep. So they separated both symbiotes
Yes.
from each other.
Yeah.
They're falling down. Then we see Shriek
Yeah.
supposedly dies.
Yes. We don't see the body.
We just see the bell.
And we know
fall
that
to the
in
ground.
all movies, if you don't see the body, you can't believe they're dead yet.
Yep. And she did get shot in the head,
Yes.
and she survived that. So we're not really sure what her powers are 100% at this point
in this movie
in
context,
this
yes.
universe. Blah blah blah. So probably she's gonna be back.
I think she's going to be back. I think Carnage is going to come back too.
Yeah. So at the end of everything, Carnage obviously gets defeated, right?
Yes.
And Venom eats the symbiote
Yep.
and says that was disgusting,
Yeah.
and then eats.
Then bites the head off of Cletus Cassidy.
Yeah. That was just awesome.
Yeah.
That
it
scene was
just like.
hilarious.
But the thing is, like, one of the things I like about that is they didn't go gory with it.
No, they. I mean, obviously that's what happened, but they
Yes.
didn't really show in detail.
Yeah.
A lot of things, which there was for a lot of the movie.
Yes.
As far as when Carnage is killing people, yes, he's killing people, but
But it's not disgusting. Like
they do a lot of cutaways
Yes.
and basically show, okay, this person's being thrown.
Right.
Obviously, this person's dead or that person got stabbed. But it wasn't very gory.
Some
Didn't go
of the
very
most-
bloody with it.
Yeah, some of the most gruesome things we saw was in the beginning when he was breaking out of prison.
Yes, that was probably the most gruesome.
That
scene.
was it. Like after that, it was really, really tame.
Yeah.
Yeah,
For
quote,
Carnage
unquote.
in general.
For Carnage in
yeah,
general, it's
very
really tame.
Yep.
I liked it. I thought it was a great movie. There was a lot of Woody Harrelson. Can we just
Dude,
give
that
this man
man-
props for a second?
Is such a great actor. So
Loved him.
supposedly they kill off Carnage at the end of this movie.
I
I
don't
hope
believe-
that's not the case.
I don't believe he's dead.
because Woody did such a phenomenal job.
Yes.
He's such a great actor,
Yes.
and as far as playing the insane guy,
Yeah.
yeah,
He
was beautiful.
was on point for this movie. It was great.
I've been excited for this movie since the end of Venom.
Yes.
Originally, whenever they teased "Let There Be Carnage,"
And they fixed his hair.
Yeah.
So if you saw the end of the first the first Venom movie, he had the really weird looking red curly wig, which is more comic book accurate, but it looked terrible.
Yeah, well, it was prison, right? Prison
Right.
hair. When
Right.
as soon as he gets out, they fix his hair.
Yeah. So he doesn't have the red curly wig in this one like we saw in the other one. But he looked really good. I really liked what we saw with it.
Yeah, he did a good job.
So I'm really excited to see where they go with this, especially with the post-credits scene.
Yeah, so this movie was great. Led up to a lot of things for the future of Venom itself.
Yes.
But that post-credit scene, man, I tell you what, was awesome.
Bro. So we post-credit scene, if you don't want to see it, wait, and, but we're going to talk about it. Post-credit scene, we see Venom and Eddie laying on a bed talking about one of these little Telemundo TV shows, and we get they're talking about in the show this character is keeping a secret from their love interest, and he's like, Eddie says, well, he's been keeping secrets, so I understand. And then Venom's like, well, I keep secrets from you, essentially is what he says. He's like, what? You keep secrets? He's like, I have 80 billion light years, which doesn't make sense because light years is a distance and not so much time. He's like, so I have 80 billion years worth of hive symbiote knowledge.
Let me show you a fraction of it. Already. And then whenever he starts to show them that, everything changes.
Yes.
And
there
even
is
they
a
don't know what's going
rumble,
on.
A bright light, and they go from this really dinky, gross-looking hotel room with a very
Yes.
old TV, very dated everything, to a brand new, like high-end Hawaiian resort
yeah.
with this beautiful flat screen, beautiful huge TV, and they're like, "What just happened?" And Venom's like, I didn't do that.
Yeah. So they're aware of something happening.
Something just changed."
just happened now. Everyone else may not be aware of that,
Right.
but he is aware of it.
Yes. And then we get the scene that we saw in Spider-Man Far From Home, where J. Jonah Jameson is talking about Spider-Man is a menace and he killed Mysterio. And like they stand up off the bed and walk over to the TV, and he goes full Venom, like full, and you see Venom like lick the screen. He's like, that guy looks tasty.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, somebody walks out of like the bathroom for that room, and like it's Eddie standing there, and he's just like, "What are you doing in my room?" Of course, in a post-blip world, stranger things have happened.
Yeah, because you're just sitting there going, I honestly have no idea.
Yeah.
I
So
don't know what just happened.
So we definitely have seen now that potentially that Venom will be the sixth of the Sinister Six in Spider-Man No Way Home.
So I think whenever Doctor Strange is trying to fix
Yes.
Spider-Man's problem, Peter Parker's problem in this universe, at that point when he breaks reality, breaks the multiverse, that is whenever Venom comes over into our universe
Yes.
in the MCU.
Yes. This is where we saw at the end of Loki where all the timelines not only started growing, but overlapping
Yep.
and connecting and making all these new bridgeways. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
This is huge, especially with what we got with What If this week.
Yeah, because I'm a big
Wow.
fan of Tom Hardy's Venom. Like I like he's a great actor too.
Yes.
I've enjoyed what he's done with the character.
Yes.
So being able to see him, and Tom Holland on the same
On the
screen
screen
together,
together.
yes, that's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
And
So-
then
If we don't get him in the next movie, if we don't get him in Spider-Man No Way Home, I honestly am putting money on a post-credit scene.
yeah, 100%. If he's not in it, he's got to be in a post-credit scene.
Yes.
Because at this point, we have officially started the Spider-Man universe.
Yes,
The Spider-Verse.
and we know that Sony is working on a Madam Web series
Yep.
or movie, which Madam Web is one of the people who helped Spider-Man in the comic books traverse the Spider-Verse, where we meet all these other Spider-Men, where we meet Miles Morales, where we meet Spider-Gwen, also known as Ghost, and we meet all these other characters throughout the Spider-Verse. Spider-Man 2099, which I'm stoked for that one. Please bring it in. We know we got the huge nod out at the end of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the animated one. So there is so much here, so much that can be done.
The
And
potential.
I am over the moon excited.
So at the end of the movie, before the post-credit scenes,
Yes.
the Venom and Eddie finally come to a agreement
Yes.
and says, where we're going to go next, anywhere they need a lethal protector.
Lethal Protector.
You were telling the truth?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's hilarious because, like, in the 90s, there was a series of comics for Venom called Lethal Protector, and he was actually working with, government sanction to take on these bigger, badder guys, and he was called the Lethal Protector. And so there's a moment in the movie where Venom's like, "We should be called Venom, the Lethal Protector," and Eddie's just like, "That's a stupid name. That is so 1980s."
Yeah.
And he's like, "What? You don't like it?" So then bringing it actually back at the end of the movie was like a great little nod.
They're in the sand. His
Yes.
feet are in the sand.
His toes are Venom
Yeah.
toes in the sand.
in the sand. And he wants his hair to fly in the wind.
Yeah.
So can't help you with the hair because you don't have any. And yes, we're going to do it. Lethal Protector. We're going to need a cape.
A cape and a mask.
No, I think you got that covered, buddy.
Yeah, we
I
don't
think
need all
we'll be
that.
okay.
Yeah. So overall, I loved this movie. I really thought it was a lot better for me than the first one. I
It's
didn't
fun.
hate the first one, but it was definitely overhyped for me. So I loved it.
Yeah. So I never go into a movie based on someone else's opinion too
Yeah.
much. I always.
I try not to, but it was so difficult for this one.
Yeah. But I enjoyed it.
Solid 4. A solid 4 for me on a scale of 1 to 5. Solid 4. The end credit scene makes it definitely go up to a 4.5.
So I'd give it a 4.3
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
overall. It was a fun movie. I enjoyed it. It was funny.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the Eddie.
There's a
Venom.
lot of banter between
Yes.
them. It was great.
I loved it.
Yes. So, lots of Easter eggs. Do us a favor. Tell us what you think about it. Tell us what you liked about it. Tell us what you didn't like about it.
Yep.
My big drawback, runtime.
Yeah, I definitely could have taken more, but I understand why they did it. It was pretty much the first movie was pretty much to the point too.
Yes.
This movie followed suit. It's pretty
Yeah.
much to the point, but we're gonna get a lot more Venom
Yes.
after this point.
Going
so
forward.
it's okay in my opinion.
Yes.
It got the point across. It was still a fun movie, and I'm excited
Yeah.
for the next.
Yeah. So, do us a favor. Hit that like button
Subscribe.
and leave some comments. Talk about this movie and not just this movie, but how do you think it's going to play into the future of the MCU and the Sonyverse?
Yep.
Love you guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.